This video is about strokes. So, what is a stroke? Well, a stroke is when blood flow to a part of your brain is interrupted or slowed down. This prevents brain tissue from getting oxygen and nutrients. Without that, the brain cells will begin to die in minutes. And when the brain cells die, part of your body stops working. That's why people having a stroke only have control over half their body. When even a part of your brain stops to work, some of your nerves and muscles in your body stop too. And some of your emotions can also be affected. There are two reasons why you would get a stroke. One, there's a blockage. Or two, there's internal bleeding. Or there's just like a cut in one of the veins. A blockage is the most common, with 85% of stroke cases being caused because of it. A blood clot can form and slow down blood flow, or stop it entirely. The other way is for the blood vessels to bleed internally, lowering the pressure and slowing down the blood flow. It also releases blood into the area of the skull, and blood is very good at delivering nutrients to all the organs in our body, but it is very acidic when it comes to actually touching all the organs. Illnesses like high blood pressure, or hypertension for short, arterial fibrillation, a type of irregular heartbeat, diabetes, and high cholesterol are all risk factors. Also, there are some genetic risks. These aren't as deadly or as a telltale sign as the illnesses, but if you fall under any of these categories, you could be more likely to have a stroke. Some symptoms or effects of a stroke are weakness or paralysis. They won't be able to move parts of their bodies. They'll also just feel paralyzed. They feel like they can't move. A speech impediment, as I said, when half your body isn't working, you kind of talk like this. Even worse than this, it's really hard to understand what they're saying. Balance. It can be hard to balance everything when you don't have control over your whole body. Bladder and bowels. I don't think I have to explain this one, and I kind of don't want to. And it can also affect your swallowing. About 40% of people have difficulty with swallowing after a stroke. It can be dangerous if food goes down the wrong way and gets into your windpipe, as it can cause chest infections like pneumonia. But to make sure that you know if someone's having a stroke, you should use the acronym FAST. F is for facial weakness. Can the person has their mouth or eye? A is for arm weakness. Can the person raise both arms? S is for speech problems. Can the person speak clearly and can you understand what they're saying? And T is for time to call 911. The faster you go through this whole thing, pun not intended, the easier it will be for the recover. When the person gets to the hospital, the doctors have to determine whether or not the stroke is being caused by a blockage or internal bleeding, so that they can do the appropriate procedure. The ischemic stroke, you may get a type of medicine called thermobolic, which is a clot busting drug to break up the clots. Tissue plasminogen activator, or TPA for short, is a thermobolic that is commonly used for strokes. I guess he say if you get to the hospital fast, you'll be fine. Sorry, I should get a fine for that, I'm sorry. Anyways, to treat a hemorrhagic stroke, which is a stroke that is caused by internal bleeding or a cut on a vein, you have to take drugs to stop the bleeding. There are other things that you can do to stop this, like surgery, but surgery is mostly a plan B or like a plan Z, because it is very dangerous because you're working right next to the brain. And if you make a small mistake, it could mean the end of the person. So they usually just try all the medicine they can first. A stroke doesn't really affect your life in the long term, although it does have some small side effects that can last a while. And it can start the chance of you having TIA, so it isn't the best. People have said that strokes could happen on a normal day. There are basically no signs that anyone could have to tell that they're about to have a stroke today, in a week, in a month. I could get a stroke right now from editing this video, and I've had a pretty normal day. In the end, strokes may be very deadly, and can happen at any time and could damage your body. A stroke is very preventable. To prevent a blood clot, just be active. Especially now that since, we're at home, we don't go out much, and with these Google Meets that last 2 hours and 30 minutes, you have to sit down there and just listen. Try to change positions. Stretch a bit. Just keep your body moving. If you be active, the chance of you getting a stroke drop significantly.